This is a how to complete a referral and review form. While there are 4 different forms, they are all similar in some of these basic items, and so we'll walk you through completing one of them, and you should be able to apply this information to all 4 forms. At the top of the form is the note of which type. This one is for specific academic with a cognitive score. We also have specific academic that does not include cognitive scores, talent areas, and general intellect. Please note the type or area of identification that this student matches. Complete the student information, name, birth date, etc. Student is among. This lets us know if this student is among average age for their grade, older for their grade, or perhaps younger for their grade. As you move down, the qualifying evidence is what comes next. Please note that only evidence that meets state criteria should be placed in this part of the form. If there is any type of cognitive test, please put the name of the test, when the test was administered, and any qualifying scores. This student also had a quantitative score at the 89th percentile and a nonverbal score at the 92nd percentile. However, since these do not meet state criteria of 95th percentile or above, we do not include them in this part of the form. There are usually 3 evidence areas. Evidence area 1 is for achievement data. PARCC, CMAS, TCAP, STAR, iReady, Iowa, etc. Scores need to be in the advanced, distinguished, or exceeds from STAR or PARCC or CMAS or TCAP scores, and those would go here. STAR, iReady, etc. need to be at 95th percentile or above, and they would fit in here. Again, only ID areas. This one is for math. Only scores that meet those qualifications for math should be put in this area. Even if a student has 95th or above, say, STAR scores, for reading, do not put them in this area, as this identification or referral is not for reading, just for math. We have several normed reference observation scales we can use, GES or SIGs, and area 2 is where that information should be added. Again, only put scores that match the area of identification. If this student is not being recommended for leadership, even if they have leadership scores at 95th percentile or above, do not put them in this area of the form. Evidence area 3 is for performance evaluation information. As you continue with the form, we now ask for interpretive and descriptive information. This is a narrative box. If this student has other information that would help us see this child as a whole or in a more well-rounded way, or other areas that they are academically high, we can include that information here. If this student also had a strength of reading but not enough to be identified, you could include that information here. What we are looking for here is if programming or interventions are being provided, what is being provided, what type, the intensity, is it within the regular classroom, are they needing something beyond the regular classroom, how often, and how is that student doing with that type of intervention? Is there growth being made? Is the student resistant? Is the student stepping up and enjoying the challenge? This is a progress monitoring area that lets us know how the student has responded to programming that has been put in place. This form would then be submitted to the district identification and review team. Those team members would put their names on this form as well as the date of review. If they had any recommendations or questions, they also have a narrative box where they can put that information in. They will review the form and compare it to state criteria and make their determination. Does this student qualify for formal identification in the recommended specific academic area? If so, they would click this box and also mark that area. If there was something that popped up and they believe this student might need a special education referral, they would also click this box, but they should make notes in the narrative box as what they have seen on this form that is a basis for that recommendation. If their determination is that this data does not meet identification at this time, they would click here and recommend to continue on watch, begin on watch, collect additional data and bring back to review team. And again, they might need to put that information up here if they are recommending perhaps completing a SIGS or a GES to help us have more information that might be used to qualify this student. No matter which determination has been recorded, this form should be shared with parents, teachers, and uploaded into Enrich. If the student is formally identified, a copy of this also needs to be put in their CUME folder. This student should be coded in Synergy as identified as gifted, and the GT administrative assistant can help with that. If a student is identified, there are 30 school days from the date of this review team's decision to complete an ALP within Enrich. The date should be noted here of when that should occur, and if there was any follow-up, if needed, the date should be entered here for special education assessment. If you have any questions on completing a form, please do not hesitate to let us know. Again, qualifying evidence in the area of recommended identification belongs on the form, not any other evidence at this time.